Sean bienvenidos a nuestra segunda sesión síncrona del módulo 6. Bien, parece que sí tenemos audio correcto. Muy bien, gracias por acompañarme. Buenas noches. Gracias, Edith, sí. Bueno, pues como saben, estamos en nuestra sesión síncrona de nuestra segunda semana del módulo 6. Nuestra sesión será en idioma inglés, pero ustedes pueden preguntarme en idioma español las dudas que consideren y que en el tiempo que consideren durante la sesión, independientemente de que tengamos al final un espacio para dudas que también podrá ser en idioma español si ustedes lo desean. Okay, so let's start our session. So in this second week of our Model 6, My World in Another Language, is very important because we're going to review, we're going to check, we're going to learn very interesting topics about daily how to communicate ourselves in a daily situations. So the knowledge that we're going to check out in this second week, it's a very grammatical ways important for us, okay, in order really to communicate ourselves in daily situations in the English language. So as you know, our ordinary period from August 3 to August 30, our group, as you already know, and this is the second synchronous session of this second week of Unit 2. So in this second week, we're going to check out the Unit 2. Where is my? So like I said at the beginning of the session, we will be able to provide oral and written information about personal items and directions to get to somewhere. To achieve this, we will apply grammatical notions and vocabulary of objects and places of interest. So the order of our session tonight, we're going to check out the object of this session, the performance indicators of week 2. We're going to check out or review our activity formats, the areas of success detected in week 1, the areas of opportunity to apply in this second week, time extensions for activities, additional resources, and finally a space for doubts. So the object of this second session that we're going to review the performance indicators of second week for the correct development of the assigned activities with the support of examples and tutorials as well as areas of success and opportunity to apply in this second week. So the performance indicators of second week, as you already know, we have two integrative activities titled Be My Guest and Come to My House. We have the social-emotional activity and exercises, the questionnaire 11, WH word, possessives, are there, and let's cook. As you know, remember this part, you have to click on set everything, finish and set everything on the activity and the exercises in order the platform really register your activity here, okay? So please check at the end of the activity and the exercises, finish everything and send. We have the form activities, where is and description. And the learning forum of this second week is very important, this space, because we're going to share places of interest of our city, where we live, of course. And we're going to talk about objects and curiosities that we use daily to describe these objects, okay? So I'm going to share in this space, some maps and some and house also to describe some objects, where can we find these objects. And this will be very helpful because on the integrative activity, Be My Guest, the first one of this second week, we're going to apply these grammatical notions to describe objects from a house. Okay, so the learning forum is very acquired to these integrative activities of this second week. So we're going to check out very specific the files or the forms of the integrative activities, Be My Guest and Come to My House. First, let's go to our suggestions that are located on the news forum. You can find it right down like suggestions English week 2, and you already have these file this infographic also in Spanish in the news forum too. So please read it. It's a very quick way because it's only one page where I give you my suggestions step by step, so what to do with interactive activities and all the performance indicators of each unit, okay? So the purpose of these activities of the second week is that we can provide detailed oral and written information about personal items and directions to get to a place. So the interactive activity 3, Be My Guest, we will apply grammatical notions and vocabulary from Unit 2 to describe and locate personal objects. So we're going to check it out in a minute, but it's important that we check the resource in week 2, vocabulary S2, prepositions, and the video Where Is My. They will be just useful to know the appropriate vocabulary. Here I have step by step what we have to do. We're also going to step with the recordings, both activities. And interactive activity 4, Come to My House, in which we will apply grammatical notions and vocabulary from this unit 2 to provide information about places of interest. So this activity is very important to place ourselves in common situations, to explain to someone else how to get to one place to another. So we're going to check out the resource in week 2, adverbs of time, prepositions, and the video New in the City. Okay, so you have the file Come to My House that we're going to check it out in a minute also. The social emotional activity 11, it's a questionnaire that we have to make down with our tutor, the form activities and the exercises, and the learning forum. Our first example, the Minerva Round is a site of interest in Guadalajara, Jalisco. The Minerva Round was built in 1957 by Governor Agustin Yañez and represents the Goddess Minerva warding in Guadalajara. It is located at Vallarta Avenue, North Vallarta, zip code 44619. It's a public place that is open 24 hours and no payment is required per ticket. Okay, so it's an example I'm going to share in this space. I as already said, some maps and some examples about a house or another situations of places in order to practice and really be learning in this space, okay, enriching this space of learning space. So let's go to our first integrative activity. Please check it out, the infographic. Okay, so the first activity of this second week, we will be integrative activity number 3, Be My Guest. And we're going to imagine that we're going to invite someone to our house. So in order to explain to him or her where the things are located, we have to use some grammatical notions in English. So first we have some images here and some letters, yes, to really indicate what we're looking at. Okay, so please notice the images. And for that, for explain to someone else where he or she find some stuff in our room, in our place, in our living room, in our kitchen, we're going to use prepositions. Okay, and we're going to use some grammatical notions about there is and there are in the English language. So what about the prepositions? What are they? So the prepositions show us the position of objects and places. Also, they indicate moments and give temporal references about activities and events. So the ordinary prepositions, and this chart, this purple chart, you already have it in the resource of the second week in the platform. We have some prepositions like on, sobre, in, en, at, that we use it for very specific places or time, okay? Next to, junto a, under, debajo de, in front of, delante de, near, cerca de, okay? And here I have some more that there are not in the resource in the platform, like in between, this, en medio de, opposite, contrario, below, es como debajo de también, on the left, on the right, next to, above, encima, y on the right, okay? So also we're going to use there is and there are because these grammatical notions allow us to obtain and offer information about what is in a place or space. So it's very specific to indicate what is located where, okay? So we use it in singular, there is, like in the example, there is a lamp next to the window. So for singular, because it's only one lamp, okay? And we use there are in plural for many things. Like an example, there are fruits on the refrigerator, okay? So fruits, plural, we use it there are. So please notice this chart that I explained to you in order to start our activity. As I told you already, we have to check the resource on the platform of week 2. There is and there are. It's a very explanation here also about there is and there are. Vocabulary is 2, prepositions, and the video where is mine. So the first instruction or the first part of our activity asks that we have to, after we saw the pictures, we have to answer the questions in 3 different ways, 3 different grammatical ways. We have to pay attention to this, please, because it's a very common area of opportunity that we forgot that the rubric evaluates this aspect very precisely. Okay, we have to write down in 3 different ways to the questions. So in the example that is already in the file of the activity, the question is, where is the hamburger? So in order to answer, we have 3 different sentences. In the kitchen, there is, because I'm talking in singular, just one hamburger. There is a hamburger on the table. On, sobre. Okay? I'm using there is, grammatical notion there is, and I'm using my preposition on. Okay? There is a hamburger between the salt and the glass. In the kitchen, there is a hamburger on the dish in front of the fridge. So I'm using first to indicate where, the place that is located. I'm using there is in each sentence, and I'm using prepositions on each sentence too. Okay, so I'm using between, I'm using on, and I'm using on and in front of, okay, as prepositions. So the first question asks me, where are the fruits? Notice that are indicators that is plural, and the S, fruits, there are many fruits. So I have to answer in this grammatical way first. In the kitchen, there are fruits on the table. Like, if we want to check that we are correct, let's go back to the images, to the kitchen, and we're going to find the fruits. The fruits are on the fridge. Okay, in the kitchen, the fruits are on the fridge. The second answer of this first question, I have to begin with the grammatical notion there are, because I'm using plural. Okay, there are fruits between, entre, the refrigerator and the dishwasher in the kitchen. Obviously, I have to check the resource vocabulary as 2, yes, in order to achieve the vocabulary about the kitchen, the room, yes, or the house in general, to complete my sentence, okay, in a very correct way. And in the last one, I said also, there are fruits on the refrigerator in front of the window, for example, or next to the window, okay, to the third answer. Where is the microwave? Says the second question. In the kitchen, there is a microwave. I'm using there is because it's just one microwave. Behind the X, there is a microwave under the watch. There is a microwave next to the window. So I'm using the grammatical notions, there is, and I'm using my prepositions in each sentence, okay? So it's very important, according to the rubric, that I answer in these grammatical ways using there is, there are, and my prepositions, okay? Where is the floor? Okay, where are more towels? Where are the toothbrushes? Where is the mirror? Where can I save my clothes? Okay, you can save your clothes in the bathroom or in the closet in the bedroom. Where is the lamp? Where can I get a book? You can get a book in the living room, for example. Yes, next to the kitchen, next to the lamp, between the sofa, etc. Okay, where is the switch to turn the lights on off. The switch to turn on off the lights is, okay. The next part of my integrative activity asks me to describe the living room. Please notice that the picture that we're going to describe is the one that is here in the integrative activity. This living room, okay? Not the living room of your house. This living room, this image in the file of integrative activity, okay? So I'm going to describe the living room. How I'm going to do that? I also have to check the vocabulary S2, the resource that is in the platform on week 2, and I have to begin my sentence like this. The living room is medium. There are 2 blue couches and 1 orange lamp. In the living room, there is also 1 table that has 2 orange books on it. So I'm using there are, there is, and I'm using prepositions, and of course I'm describing too the furniture, the colors, the characteristics of the furniture, etc. Okay, so it doesn't have to be so long, the sentences, but it has to show the grammatical notions about there are, there is, and the prepositions. Okay, not too long, just with 1 sentence is enough. Okay, and the last part of our integrative activity, I have to record my sentences. Yes, I can read the questions and the answers, the 3 answers, okay, complete. So you have to describe and identify the objects, the question and the answers, the 3 answers. And please don't worry about the time that is indicating the instructions of the activity, because according to the rubric, there's no penalize if you exceed the time of the recordings. Okay, so please don't worry about this. You can record your audios with patience. Okay, so please try to be as short as you can in order to avoid the file be too heavy to upload it to Drive or Dropbox. Okay, only to take care of this point, but according to the rubric, there's no penalize if you exceed the limit of the time. Okay, so until here, do you have a question of this first integrative activity? Edith, ¿tienes alguna pregunta de esta primera actividad? ¿De la semana 3? ¿De la semana 2? Okay, so let's go to our second integrative activity. Sí, me dice Edith, sí, yo sé responder de las 3 formas diferentes, sí. Hay que responder de las 3 formas diferentes gramaticales porque, de acuerdo a la rúbrica, hay que llevarlo a cabo de esta manera. Y además, como comentaba, es un área de oportunidad muy recurrente el no establecer esas 3 formas de respuesta. Y entonces, bueno, pues tendremos una baja en la evaluación de acuerdo a la rúbrica. Entonces hay que establecerlo de esas 3 formas, ¿sí? Utilizando there is, there are y los prepositions. ¿Ok? Y para el audio hay que grabar. Podemos leer las preguntas y hay que leer las 3 respuestas. ¿Ok? El audio por separado, el audio sí se graba y se copia aquí la liga, aquí mismo en el archivo. ¿De acuerdo? Pero hay que leer toda la pregunta, todas las respuestas y también hay que leer la última parte de describir la sala de esta imagen. ¿Ok? Decía que es la sala de esta imagen y no la sala de su casa, porque también es una cuestión de área de oportunidad muy recurrente que me describen la sala de su casa y bueno, es la sala que está en esta imagen de acá. Y también hay que incluir esa descripción en el audio. ¿Ok? No hay penalización en la rúbrica si nosotros nos excedemos en el tiempo del audio. Solo decía que hay que cuidar este aspecto para que, bueno, no se haga tan pesado el audio y de repente pues sea difícil subirlo al Drive o al Dropbox. Y para los que utilizan Buckaroo, pues no tendrán ningún problema tampoco, como lo vimos en la semana anterior. ¿Ok? Muy bien. Gracias, Edith. Entonces pasemos a la segunda actividad integradora de esta segunda semana. Okay, so the second integrative activity of this second week, it's called Come to My House. So we're going to pretend, we're going to imagine that this is our neighborhood, and we have to explain to someone how to get to one place to another. So that's why we have here a map, an imaginary map of our neighborhood, where it's not an imaginary map, it's a map or of our imaginary neighborhood, okay? So please check it out. We have some avenues: Kingsway, Oxford Street, Trinity College Road, Queens Avenue, Prince Road, Park Road, Cliff Street, Baker Street, High Street, etc. And we have so many places here. We have my house, shopping center, newsagents, bakers, hotel, bookshop, library, cinema, chemist, market, pub, etc. We have so many places here in our neighborhood, okay? So, in this interactive activity, it's very important to use adverbs of time. Why adverbs of time? Why are they very important in the English language and also in Spanish too? Because they help us to tell us when an action takes place. So we're using here just the adverbs of time, but we have another adverbs like adverbs of manner, adverbs of frequency, adverbs of place or purpose. We have so many adverbs, okay? But we're going to only refer in this interactive activity about adverbs of time. So some adverbs of time are today, later, now, first, after, before, then, always, yesterday, tomorrow, once, today, early, okay? To mention something. But in this interactive activity, we're only use later, first, after, and then. We're only going to use these specific adverbs of time, okay? Actually, in this second week on the platform, we have an exercise that calls Let's Cook. It's very helpful for this interactive activity because we use very specific the adverbs of time, like when we are cooking, you know, when we are making a recipe or following the instructions of a recipe. When we are cooking, it's very important to indicate what happened first, what happened next, and what happened at the end, okay? So this is very important when we are cooking, but it's very important too when we're giving instructions, we're giving directions to get to some place, okay? So that's why we're going to pretend how to explain to someone in our neighborhood how to get to one place to another. And also we're going to use the prepositions. Like we said already, the prepositions show us the position of objects and places, also indicate moments, and give temporal references about activities and events. Okay, so we already know prepositions on, in, at, next to, under, in front of, near. Okay, and in this interactive activity we're going to use turn left, turn to the right, okay, to indicate how to go to one place to another, okay? So after we saw the map, here we have it again, to don't forget where the places and the avenues are. We have to answer some questions, okay, using adverbs of time and using prepositions. So the example of interactive activity said that how can I go from the bus station to the baker's? So I have to first locate in the map where is the bus station, okay? So the bus station is here, okay? And how can we go to the baker's? That is here too, okay? So the answer will be like this. First, I'm using my adverbs of time. First, walk straight ahead on Queens Avenue to the north. Straight ahead is de frente, okay? To the north. After that, después de eso, pass 3 buildings. The bookshop, which is orange, okay? With the bookshop that is orange. A hotel that is blue. And the news agents that is yellow. Then, turn right. A la derecha on Oxford Street, and walking the bakery is next to the news agents. Okay, so I have to have in mind all the time my map, okay, to first locate where is the thing that I'm going to park to begin my journey, okay? So to really give a precise direction. So the first question in interactive activity says, which way is the best to go from the bus station to your house? So I have to answer with adverbs of time. First, walk straight ahead on Queens Avenue to the north. After that, pass 3 buildings. The school, which is gray, the library, that is pink, and the chemist, that is blue. Then, turn right on Oxford Street, pass the bakery, and turn left on High Street. My house is next to the shopping center. Here is my house. And behind the football pitch. Okay, so it's very simple because I'm only describing the names. I'm only saying the names of the places, and I'm just referring this, describing with colors. Okay, very simple, with colors, the name and the colors. And I'm using adverbs of time, I'm using prepositions, and I'm using also turn left, turn right. Okay, but that's it. We don't have to describe more. Only according to the rubric, it's very important, use adverbs of time and use prepositions. Okay, so please take in mind always your map. The second question asks me, your friend wants to go to the bank because he needs some money. Explain him how he can go from your house to the bank. Okay, so once again, here I have my house and the bank is over here. Over here, okay? So I have to answer also using the adverbs of time and my prepositions. After he gets the money, wants to visit the museum. Explain him which is the way from the bank to the museum. Okay? In the afternoon, you and he are going out to eat at a restaurant. Explain him which is the way from the museum to the restaurant. At night, he's going to meet his friends in the pub. Explain him how he can go from the restaurant to the pub. So the answer will be like this. First, walk straight ahead on Kingsway. After that, turn right on Queens Avenue. Then, turn right just in the corner, justo en la esquina, where the cinema is located on Oxford Street, and walk straight. The pub is next to the market in front of the bank. Okay, so this is an example of how can I answer, but according to the rubric only, it's very important that I use the adverbs of time and my prepositions. Okay, you don't have to describe a lot the places. Okay, just with colors, adverbs of time and prepositions. And our recording, of course, we can use Buckaroo or any recording you want. I have to read, or I can read the questions and instructions. Okay, all of them of our recording. Remember, there is no penalize according to the rubric if we exceed the limit of the recording. Okay, until here, do you have some question of this interactive activity, Edith? ¿Tienes alguna pregunta de la actividad? Ok. Perfecto, Edith. Muchas gracias. Lo que decía es que el área de oportunidad más recurrente es que, de acuerdo a la rúbrica, tenemos que utilizar los adverbs of time y prepositions. ¿Ok? Adverbs of time siempre en ese orden como lo vimos y justo estos adverbs of time. ¿Ok? Muy bien. So let's continue then with our slides. To go to the areas of success detected in the past week 1. You notice the feedback to send your activity again. I actually have some technical issues with you. Some of you, it's just a few of you, okay? But you really notice the feedback to send your activity again. Some of you actually upload some mistake activities, so you notice the feedback to send them again on time. So this is very important, okay, to work in a very disciplined way. As you know, that we already talked about this, how to work on a very punctual way. I really value your effort to deliver your integrative activities from Monday to Friday, in order that you have the chance to make a second delivery on the same week that we are working. Because I don't know, maybe you have some technical issues, or you have some grammatical hard mistakes or areas of opportunity that to correct in order to gain a better evaluation according to the rubric. So if we are on the same week that we are working, you can deliver a second activity without any issue, okay? So I really value your effort to work in a very disciplined way. I know that in this time, on this pandemic time, we have so many roles in our daily life, yes? So I know that you are very busy with so many things, but remember that this academic process is very important for you. So make it on time and work in a very disciplined, hard way, okay? Please keep in touch with me through the platform messenger and email. You already do this in the first integrative in the first week, so please continue doing any question you have or anything you want to talk about in the platform of the messenger of the platform on my personal email. You participate actively in the learning forum, so please continue doing this aspect in the second week. The areas of opportunity to apply in the second week. Please consider the punctual deliveries of the interactive activities for early detection of areas of opportunity. I have to say that I received just a few of you on a very punctual way, but most of you delivered your interactive activities on Sunday, okay? Like on the last day of the platform, you delivered interactive activities. So this is not the very good way to work, because you know at the end of the week we can have some technical issues with the platform because it gets a lot of people in the same time. So we can have some technical issues to upload our interactive activities. So please avoid this way of working to send interactive activities on Sunday night, okay? Please avoid this part. Check the rubric to know the evaluation elements. Remember that the rubric is in Spanish, that I have to evaluate only that according to the rubric, so please check it out. Take care of the noise, interference, and voice level in your recordings. I detect that some of your recordings are on a very low voice, so please try to be very near of our microphone and according to the levels in our computer or cell phone, to be very clear without interference if you can, okay? Make sure giving necessary permissions in Dropbox and Google Drive. I can say that I don't have many cases of this part, but yes, some of you didn't give the necessary permissions on Google Drive in order to listen to your recording. So please make sure that we already check the infographic that is in Spanish, that is in the news forum, on how to make sure to share correctly the link of our recordings in the Google Drive, okay? The text and the recordings of the activities must be in English. Remember, please, that avoid the use of translators. I detect some some grammatical issues about the vocabulary. For example, you wrote down on the description of our family or for ourselves that I have Chinese hair, for example. So we don't use Chinese hair to refer to a curly hair. So this is what happened when you use some translators in the English language. So please, you have the vocabulary, you have the online dictionaries that I recommend, that I suggest. You have Grammarly.com. There is an app that is free, and you can check your spelling and your vocabulary, some also technical topics in the grammatical language, English language, okay? So please avoid using translators, and remember that it must be written in English. So what about, hi Judith, good night, thank you for joining me. So what about the extensions for the activities? As you know, some of you contact me today actually to send have the chance to send the interactive activities from week 1 that you couldn't send it on time. So the procedure that I used to do in this space for the time extensions is that you can contact me by the messenger of the platform or my personal email to talk about the reason that why you can't deliver your integrative activities on time, and I will answer you if you have, or I can question you if you already have your integrative activities ready. So make sure that your activities are ready, and I will be enable the platform. Yes. So as soon as you indicate me that your activities are ready, I will give you 24 hours in the platform to send them. It won't be any issue because you already have your integrative activities ready. So I will go to the platform, enable the platform 24 hours after I send you the message, and you can send them in the platform with ordinary time of the 24 hours. Okay, so please first let me know why you couldn't send your integrative activities on time, or you can contact me when you already have your integrative activities ready for the past weeks. Yes, and I'm going to enable the platform 24 hours to send your integrative activities. Okay, in the same way, before you send the integrative activities, I will in 24 hours sending your evaluation and feedback too. Okay, as the same as we work the evaluation and the feedback in the ordinary integrative activities, deliveries, and etc. Okay, so 24 hours you will have also your evaluation and feedback. Remember that you can have the same evaluation of the 100% because the aspect of delivering on time, it won't be really on time. Okay, so I have to evaluate this aspect in the rubric according to not delivering on time your integrative activities. So the additional resources that you already have it on the news forum and on the learning forum, it's forbo.com, that it's a dictionary online actually about how to use the proper vocabulary for your integrative activities. You can find here some words and listen to the pronunciation. It will also help us to practice the pronunciation. I also recommend englishpractical.com. There is with reading, recordings, translations, and exercises on how to request and provide directions. So it will be very helpful for the second integrative activity of this second week. And I also recommend you prepositions of place. It's a visual vocabulary lesson in YouTube. It's very short from Oxford Online English, and this will be helpful for you too for this second week. Okay, so we finally have a space for doubts. You can write me in the chat on YouTube in Spanish. One of the questions that you asked me in the platform, and I'm going to say this in Spanish too. La semana pasada me preguntaban que si ustedes me escriben en el mensajero, me tendrían que escribir en el mensajero en idioma inglés de la plataforma. No es necesario que lo escriban en idioma inglés si ustedes no lo desean. Si ustedes me escriben en español, yo responderé en español. Si ustedes me escriben en inglés, yo respondo en inglés, tanto en el mensajero de la plataforma como en mi correo personal. ¿Okay? Entonces fue una como de las preguntas de esta semana. También me han preguntado muchísimo el tema de la extensión, del tiempo de extensión límite que está en las instrucciones de las actividades respecto de los audios. No hay penalización conforme a la rúbrica respecto de excedernos del tiempo de los audios, entonces es solamente una recomendación más que instrucción para no volver tan pesados los archivos y que tengamos problemas al momento de subirlos al Drive o al Dropbox. Entonces es solamente esa recomendación, pero no hay penalización en la rúbrica. Entonces si me paso por un poquito, muchito, lo que sea, no hay problema, no hay tema acá de que yo vaya a tener una cuestión en baja de mi evaluación por excederme el tiempo del audio. Lo que es importante es que grabemos lo que tengamos que grabar, ¿ok? O sea, toda mi actividad tiene que estar en idioma inglés de manera oral, porque estamos practicando también el tema oral. Yo sé que de momento no va a ser tan fácil lograr una buena pronunciación. pero vamos a tener que ir practicando y ese es el propósito formativo también muy principal de estos módulos de inglés, que vayamos desarrollando no solamente de manera escrita, ¿sí? No solamente la forma gramatical escrita, sino también en la oralidad, ¿ok? Entonces, por favor, hay que tener nuestros audios completos, ¿ok? No sé si tengan alguna otra duda, Edith y Judith. De cualquier manera, saben que esta sesión quedará grabada. La liga se encuentra en el foro de novedades, en el calendario de la plataforma y en el mensajero que acabo de enviarles a cada uno de ustedes la liga, para que puedan reproducirla en el momento que consideren necesario, esperando que sea de utilidad lo que acabamos de comentar. Saben que tienen las infografías en español e inglés, que también trato de explicar paso a paso de una manera muy rápida cuáles son mis sugerencias, mis recomendaciones para el desarrollo de cada uno de los indicadores de desempeño de cada unidad de nuestras semanas en el módulo 6, ¿ok? Perfecto, Edith. Muchas gracias, Judith. Perfecto. Creo que Judith era una de las que me preguntaba el audio. Ya recordé un poco acá. Sí, muy bien. Okay, so once again, thank you for joining me. Remember that this session will remain recorded in the news forum, on the calendar, and on the messenger of the platform. Please let me know. Let's keep in touch if you have any question that I can help you for the development of the performance indicators of this second week of our Model 6. Okay, so thank you once again.